We're a very small medical office and a staff of about 20 people. Specifically, we have 3 podiatric surgeons, highly educated people, very intelligent, but have very little leadership and business training. So last year, it really came to my consciousness that we were having severe cultural problems at our organization. We had massive amount of turnover. The doctors were getting inundated with people coming to them expressing problems in all different functional areas. And usually they identified not a solution, but a source, and the source is always another person. So I realized at that point we needed to do something culturally. So that's when I reached out, intent-based leadership. The goal of that was to get buy-in on the principles of intent-based leadership from the leadership of our organization, and then allow our actions, our behavior, our communication to then change the rest of the organization, just flow downwards. And then before we started the online training, I asked the leadership, what are the key aspects of the culture that you want? And they said they wanted a culture that wrapped their arms around teamwork. They wanted people to be responsible and accountable. They wanted a high level, really legendary customer service. And they wanted people to take initiative. Just to let you know, going in, I was probably the only believer. We had 2 in particular that were reluctant, and one of them walked out on that meeting. She didn't come into work the next day. On Monday, she came in with a new attitude and said she would be willing to give it a shot. So that's kind of where we started. And it was interesting. It did not take very long into the process. I would even venture to say the first week or 2 were those 2 that pushed so hard on getting on board started to actually see the light, if you will. And so they really engaged, I think, at a very high level and absorbed that information and actually started to put it into practice with some degree of success. End of the winter, in like February timeframe, we were doing pretty well with IBL. The management team started working together much more effectively and started embodying the values that we wanted to see in the entire organization. Instead of a billing manager coming up to the doctors on Friday afternoon saying, we can't get any billing out because some patient care coordinators screwed up and they didn't put in the right information, now we can't bill. That's what was happening before. In February, we had the structure of the managers meeting where we were doing this training. They would mention at that meeting, hey, I'm having trouble with getting the right information and the right data from your folks, right? Talking to the lead patient care coordinator, and the lead patient care coordinator would say, well, I don't understand why they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then they would start to talk collaboratively and get down to the root of the cause and fix that problem. So we saw multiple examples of things like that. It's really just enhanced communication and taking the initiative to develop solutions without just pushing the problem, upline. We saw better communication. We saw more patience with our patients, if you know what I mean. More respect for our patients, which should be at absolute highest level. We saw a decreased level of errors when they're entering data. There's a lot of data in our system. When entering data, whether on the phone or when patients are scheduling an appointment or at checkout, making payment. And then I mentioned it earlier, is our Google reviews started going up. And that's a key factor for us for getting people into our office. The process of going through the IBL training helped expose some of those areas. So it's, even if I knew it, it wasn't me telling people we need to go work on a training program. They saw it. They could feel it. We could not push authority down because we didn't understand the competency level of our employees. They saw that through the training. So then it's easy. Everyone's on board. Okay, yeah, we need to do these things to make the organization better and stronger.